it's widely considered like the best coming of age story, but I don't think it's for the reason that everybody thinks. Everybody sees it as like this, like, oh, like childhood was so great and it was so much fun and this, that, everything, which totally fine. That's great. It frames childhood as like it's not a celebration of it. It's like a eulogy for it. The death of innocence. Growing up sucks for a lot of reasons, but not because you're not a kid anymore, but because it's just what life is, right? It's just a very realistic telling of like what happens when you get older. Like just bad stuff happens.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Hey now.
What's up?
Welcome back, listeners, viewers. This is episode number 157. This is I guess our Christmas special, I guess. This is the Christmas is coming
skip
up.
a week.
Time is here.
Marvin watched the wrong movie last week, so
Hey, I watched a Christmas movie. I don't know what you guys watched. Bullshit.
That's the second time Marvin's watched the wrong movie. Maybe the third even. I don't know. You have a bad track record of watching the wrong shit.
It's happened.
Nah, that's only the second.
This is Make Marvin Watch Day, though, so it all worked out. We got a good one today. We're talking about Stand By Me. Of course, the endless faucet of bad news that occurs these days in 2025 continued this week with Rob Reiner's brutal death from his son, I guess, is what they seem to think happened. So, so we're watching potentially his best movie, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty close. I mean, he's got a lot of bangers. We'll talk about it a little bit later when we cover what happened, but this is certainly up there, and it's also up there as one of the best Stephen King adaptations. And this 2025, as it comes to an end, if nothing else in movies, it was at the very least the year of Stephen King. I mean, we had The Long Walk, we had The Life of Chuck, we had Welcome to Derry. Like, this was a good year. If you're a Stephen King fan, you're eating good in 2025. So we figured it was the perfect time to make Marvin watch Stand By Me. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Stick around. How was everybody's 2 weeks? What'd you guys get up to this week? These 2 weeks? This week? Last week?
Finished the Dairy Show.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great show, great banger. Amazing finale, even. One of the few times where the peak never ends. Like, sometimes you watch like episode 4 of an 8 episode series, and it's like, oh, episode 4 was actually the best. But this one is kind of going until it finally actually peaked, which was the finale, which is kind of good.
It's a really good example, actually, and a good segue to one of the things I wanted to talk about today. And you're going to be on the hot seat, Marvin. I'm gonna put you on the hot seat, and we're gonna argue. Maybe, I don't know, but in good faith. Good faith, we're still friends. But yeah, Welcome to Derry was really good. I jokingly told Dusty, I was like, "Can you watch it all before we record?" I gave him, it was like 3 days, so I didn't think it was just a joke. But you should really get on that. That was a very good show.
It's a good one.
It might be one of the best. It might be like the best show of the season, of the year, rather. I mean. Oh, the best season of a show of the year. Like,
yeah.
It's up
there. Was
Andor
this year?
Yeah, beginning. I think. Maybe last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I lose track of time. Whatever. We don't need to rate it like that. But it was really good. And honestly, it was much better than I expected. I don't know if I'm like everybody's glazing it. Like, the internet like largely loves it. In fact, it's so many people liked it. They're like, there's a lot of like new fans now to the Stephen King universe, the multiverse. A lot of people who aren't really familiar with his stuff. A lot of people that didn't realize all his stuff is connected. I've seen a lot of videos on it, like the connections and how stuff connects. There's, it's just opened up a lot of people to the broader Stephen King universe, and that's awesome. But I don't know if. So people like it, and it is good, but I don't know if I'm liking it more because like I had not that I had low expectations. I just didn't have any expectations really. I was just like, oh, well, I like it. I liked the movies, so yeah, I'm sure it'll be okay. but it was like real good. Like it was
Real good.
way better than I expected. I won't say any spoilers because Dusty hasn't watched it yet, but I think, yeah, no, it was just very good. It like expanded the world of the novel with some of the stories within the novel that don't get a ton of love in the novel. Like the Black Spot incident, like we know about it from the lore of the book and it's mentioned, but this season, like that's the specific like plot point with like leading up to that.
In the book, it was just kind of like a statistic, like, hey, this is how many people died this year. And it was kind of like,
yeah. So basically, for those of you that don't know, the uninitiated, it hibernates basically and comes back every 27 years to feed. And its cycle, the start and end of its cycle is marked by the like this like really brutal like thing that happens in Derry. There was at one point, which is going to be the next season, I think, is what they're going to explore. They're going to go back another 30 years in time, and that's the Bradley gang shootout. So a gang in Derry gets shot up by the town. The Black Spot in this season was one, which is a local club for black airmen, gets set on fire with people inside. There's the explosion at the old mill during the Easter egg hunt. Like there's a lot of points in history where these events happen. So it was cool to see some of that stuff fleshed out. One of the things they did though is the origin of Pennywise specifically. And as everybody knows, Pennywise is just one of the forms that it likes to take. It's its favorite form because it has a taste for children, and it realized that like, oh, a clown is like a good way to lure kids in. And so it adds a little bit of backstory as it gave it a reason for why it became Pennywise and how it became Pennywise, which it's whatever. I'm not like super jazzed on it, but it's like fine. It doesn't like really ruin anything for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you familiar? Did you? I mean, this isn't a spoiler.
No, I'm just. I'm just listening to your take on it.
I don't know. I didn't really care about it because I mean, it's not a spoiler. You've seen the movies. You remember in part 2 where Beverly goes to the old lady's house and it turns out it's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point you see Bill Skarsgård without the makeup on and he's like tearing his face apart.
Yeah.
Right.
So they basically took that plot of the old lady where she's like, oh, my father worked at the circus. And essentially at some point in Derry, Pennywise, it was like...
So it's just an interesting backstory for you.
It was just a clown that worked at a local circus that it saw one day, and it saw that the children were like enamored with him, and it decided to like take his identity.
Yeah. Which
is fine. It doesn't ruin anything for me. But the reason I don't like it, I don't know how far you are in the books, Marvin, or in the book. I know you've been reading it or audio booking it. I don't remember what you were doing, but in the book, it's Pennywise is described as like several famous clowns. It's described as, I forget the name of the clown, the one that's like sad all the time. Do you remember what that one is, Dusty? Famous sad clown. Which one is the sad clown? Emmett Kelly, I think. And Bozo the clown, who was famous back in the day. And so Stephen King describes Pennywise in the book as most closely related to Bozo. If you look up Bozo, it looks like Tim Curry's version of Pennywise from the movie. But this is terrifying. Whatever I just clicked on, holy shit! Old TV is so scary. Look at this shit. This horrifying thing. Like it's just. I don't even want to look at this. Really, it's just clowns are so unsettling to me. But anyway, the point I was getting at is that in the book, it is described. Pennywise is described as looking different for each individual that is experiencing it. Right? It looks like generally similar, but it's based on the perception of that person's. It's based on that person's perception of what clowns look like. So to you, Marvin, right, Pennywise might look a little bit different than it does to me. So in that sense, I just think that I don't know if there was really I didn't feel like there was a need to give Pennywise a backstory. That said, I think what they did with it with Mrs. Kirsch and stuff, like it worked and it was fine. It was cool. So like it didn't ruin it for me. I didn't hate it. I was just kind of like, yeah, well, I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. Just felt a little unnecessary to me. That's all.
Yeah, I get that. I didn't mind it. I think it added some good what's the word? Connecting story, I guess, for the characters.
Yeah.
You said earlier that the crazy event that happens signifies like the awakening. Usually, I mean that's how
or
Stephen
the
King intended it.
yeah, or the hibernation period. Like it's either or.
Oh, okay. Either or. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is that what you're gonna ask?
Yeah, I was going to ask how he feels about because in this it was the opposite. Like
Yeah.
the black spot thing was at towards the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate to the book. I don't 100% remember. The standout of the show for me and for a lot of people was Dick Halloran. That was awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
He has a very small part in the book, which is exactly the part he has in the show, but they really fleshed him out, and they gave some nods to The Shining and stuff like that, which was really cool. And I'm having a really good time. Like, obviously, as a Stephen King fan and like somebody who knows like the lore of all the books and stuff like that, the Shine, as Stephen King refers to it, is the single connective tissue of his entire multiverse. Like, it all is about the Shine and people who have the Shine. There are some people who have the Shine that are not great. There are some people who have the Shine that's different. It's not an ability. It's hard to really describe. Like, Dick Halloran's version of the Shine allows him to like see dead people and see the future and stuff like that. But there are other characters throughout these certain novels and stuff that also possess the Shine. John Coffey from Green Mile, I'm gonna cry, had the Shine. In fact, he had the brightest shine because he was just a good person. He shined. Yeah. Oh God Almighty. He actually might have been the strongest shiner there is. One of them, honestly. There are a few, but like, and people don't really realize this about it, is like, and it's alluded to, but the kids, the Losers Club, the reason that they were able to actually defeat Pennywise is because they all had the Shine to some degree. And it's
like the Force.
Kind of, yeah. And then coming together is what allowed them to defeat it to begin with. So like, people are starting to realize.
Is it always like a psychic ability?
No.
Or is it?
Well,
okay.
Yeah, mostly. But it's not like, not like it doesn't have to take an actual like form, like Halloran could see dead people.
Right.
Or Firestarter, she has like pyrokinesis. She could set fires with her mind. That's the Shine. So it is always a psychic thing, but it's not always like an actual like ability, like a superpower type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's always nice when a out-of-pocket character from a story shines on the film version of it. No pun intended.
Are you aware of the Shine, Dusty, and how pervasive it is in the?
I'm a little familiar with it, yeah, but no, I like when you read a story or you play a game or whatever, and they translate that to film, and there's one character, you're like, how are they going to do this guy or this girl, and they really they hit it off. That's always nice.
They did Halloran so good that I actually would love to see like a spin-off show of him, like when because they hint at him going to like work at the hotel, right? And it's like a funny little nod to it, but I would love to see like his like early days working at the hotel. I think that'd be hilarious. And it'd be just good. Like, I think he's a cool, really compelling character, and the movie does him dirty, but whatever. But so the Losers Club, like, they beat it because they have a little bit of the Shine in them, and it's them coming together that Stephen King calls these groups, these like powerful groups, these connections. He calls them cadets, I believe. But like it's the fact that they had the Shine, that they were stronger together. And so I don't know. I think this show doesn't really like really get into that, but it at least opened the door for people to sort of figure that out.
Yeah.
As they explore the Stephen King universe. But yeah, so Welcome to Derry was very, very good, Dusty. You should get on it ASAP.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and watch it with a lady sometime soon.
It's a good watch. I think they already confirmed it's going to be 3 seasons.
Mhm.
The next being the mobster.
The Bradley gang, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great show. Excellent watch. But I said that it's a good segue into one of the things I wanted to talk about today. So calling you out, Marvin. Calling you out. And folks at home, is Pluribus boring or is it not? It's a question.
I haven't seen the latest episode, so.
It's a question. Oh, you're checked out already. It's a question that is sweeping social media. A lot of people, Marvin, you're not alone, it seems. A lot of people are echoing the same sentiment about Pluribus, saying it's too slow, it's too boring. Some people are saying like, well, I'm down with the slower pacing, but this is just too slow. The classic.
That's where that would be my take. It's just too slow. I mean,
you hit the classic nothing happens thing, which sent me through the roof a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they picked it up on the last episode. We got some good stuff there.
I pulled a.
I haven't seen the most recent. Episode. I think it was episode 7, maybe.
Dusty, you still haven't watched any of it, right?
Correct.
All right, I'll talk about this without spoilers. But somebody wrote on on IMDb a really funny thing. I pulled it. I am beyond disappointed with the direction the show has gone ever since the beginning of episode 3. The concept has so much potential, but we're forced to watch the angriest woman in the world complete mundane tasks. I've seen shows with plenty of mundane content, but this one takes the cake. It would be more bearable if Carol had a single redeeming quality.
Wow.
Now I'm going to be honest.
That was a little scathing. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I genuinely, I understand this criticism, and I don't want to be that guy who's like, you just don't understand it, because there are people being like that, like it's some sophisticated thing, which it isn't. I just think people are really TikTok brained, whether they know it or not. Like, I think we're so conditioned as a society to binge content or watch short form content. Like, I laid in bed last night, doom scrolling on TikTok for like 3 hours. I couldn't sleep. And so I was just like, there's nothing on YouTube I wanted to watch. So I was just scrolling through TikTok until I felt like I was getting sleepy. I looked at the time and I was like, I've been awake doing this for like 3 hours. And like the simple act of just swipe, I don't want to, nap. Oh, this one's interesting. Nope. Yep. Even what we do here, right? The podcast goes up on YouTube. If you don't watch on YouTube, it's youtube.com/The Harsh Language Podcast. But like, we put the podcast up on YouTube, and I even have to like take it into account when I edit videos. Like, oh, is this intro? Like, is this a hook? Is this exciting enough for people to like want to stay and watch the video, or are they going to get bored in the first? Like, you like, in order to make successful YouTube videos, you have to hook a person in the first like 8 seconds or 10 seconds, or they're going to click away, because guess what? There's billions of other things to watch, right? So like, I just think that mindset, whether you know it or not, is like so ingrained into us now that a show like Pluribus is very hard to watch and sit through. And it doesn't make you wrong to not enjoy it or to think it's boring. You're not wrong. I just think like, I don't know. I have a hard time connecting with that argument because, well, why don't you make your case, Marvin? State your case first for the audience, because we've talked about it privately.
Yeah. I just, maybe the big reveal itself wasn't as compelling as it should have been for them to take this approach to like the slow pacing. Like it was an interesting thing that happened, but was it interesting enough for them to like draw it out for this much without not much else happening? You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know if it is that compelling or not.
Well, that's where my argument lies now. Okay, so here's the thing. In a perfect world, or in your perfect world, what do you think should be happening?
I don't know.
Like, because I've been putting a lot of thought into this, because I think that seems to be the core element of what people are upset about, is that like nothing is happening. But like, I keep making the point to people on Twitter and stuff when I see the argument come up by like, well, comment nothing mean. Like, I'm not trying to be mean spirited, but like, sometimes nothing is supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like we talk about this a lot, how there's like plot and there's story, and those are two different things, where the plot is like the what is happening of it all. Like, to use an example of like, Welcome to Derry, the plot is, well, I guess I can't use Welcome to Derry. Let's use, I don't know, Breaking Bad. The plot of Breaking Bad is like, man gets cancer, tries to make money to like leave to his family, right? That's like the plot. The story is about the people and the characters. So the story is about Walt and his transition into a villain, and about Jesse and his redemption or whatever he goes through. Like those are the story beats. And so that's a show where the plot actually does move forward because it gets progressively more and more crazy, right?
Right.
But not every plot is meant to like move forward in that way. I think it's just something that we're a little bit used to.
I think that's fine, but
well, good storytelling follows the general narrative that the protagonist needs a device to lead them in a direction. They're going to face adversity. They're going to find discovery, self-discovery, discovery within friends, and then they're going to be triumphant in the end. And like when you start doing storytelling, like I could make a mini series of me breaking a loaf of sourdough bread, and it's nothing but me in the kitchen and your camera pointed at me baking sourdough, but I had to do this because there's food lines and the government ordered me to do it. And so you're watching me create this sourdough starter and make it into bread rolls and then turn it into loaves and walk it down to the thing and turn it in. Like that's not a goddamn story. But that's just like pointing a camera at something and being monotonous and boring. And I feel like some directors are taking advantage of that a little bit.
But that is a story, you see? If it has
but is it entertaining?
Well, that's subjective. If it has a what were you going to say, Marvin? Because you were cooking up a point.
Speaking of, you were saying this about the characters.
This is a character.
And I would
study.
argue, and I would argue that for one, there's a lack of characters because. Well, spoiler, whatever.
But there is one, but that is a character though. Just I know what you're talking about.
But that it makes it a little uninteresting.
Okay.
Because of her interactions with majority of the people, and then the other character that we see a lot of is an asshole that is dumb, and then we got the other guy that's trying to make his way towards her, which he's more interesting. But we get most of him like. We're now like 8 episodes in. Yeah. So it's like,
This is the 21st that we're recording today. The 23rd is the finale. They're going to release it a little bit early.
Okay.
I think I'll watch it.
I think a little bit of your opinion is going to change on the one character that I hinted at.
Okay.
When you watch the last episode, you'll see what I mean. But my whole argument is that like things could happen without things happening, and I think that's the central argument. Like what Dusty said, like I'm listening to Dusty. I thought Dusty was making a point in my favor, but he was actually arguing against me. So I'm surprised because he was like, you don't need a plot. Like it could just be about somebody making bread, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. That's compelling. Like that's cool.
I mean, it can be, but sometimes I feel like some of these guys make it so monotonous. Like I don't need to see somebody, sift flour for 5 minutes and then nothing else happens. Like I'll go do that myself. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I guess a good I don't even know what a good example is. I mean, I've used this reference before, but that movie All Is Lost with Robert Redford, where he's out to sea, like.
Yeah, no, that's great, but there's so much more adversity in that. Like
there's adversity because he's lost at sea.
You can feel the tension. You can feel the tension in what he's doing. Like sometimes, I guess it's how it comes across. Can you feel the tension? Whatever it is they're trying to portray.
I can't wait for you to watch this show.
The disdain, yeah, okay.
Because I feel that from this show, and that's why I'm genuinely surprised that other people don't. But again, it doesn't have to be for everybody. I'm not arguing that anybody's wrong or anything like that. I'm just trying to get to the source of like what people actually would want to be seeing, and nobody's been able to really like answer my question of like, everybody's just like, oh, I don't know, just something. And I'm like, but what though? Like, what do you want? Because not everything, like, again, I can't really say it because you haven't watched it, but like, they set up the premise in the first 5 minutes of the first episode. It's just like, this is what's happening. And here's the character that we're focusing on. And that's it. That's what it's about. It's just like, she's tossed into this like very weird situation. And it's just about her and how she's dealing with it and who she is as a person and how it's changing her, how it's affecting her. Like, I think it's a very deep character study. The last episode that you watched, Marvin, I thought was compelling as that last shot of her sitting down on the lawn chair and the fucking thing going flying past her. Like, cinematography wise, the show is beautiful and brilliant. And like, that's no surprise for Vince Gilligan. But like, I would argue this show is very much similar to like Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is not like an exciting show, really. It's very slow. And there's not a lot of like plot movement other than the stuff like if you take like the
but it's way more. You already have way more backstory.
That's what I'm saying.
Going into that.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot different.
So if you take the back, like, because one of the big exciting parts of watching Better Call Saul is like, when are we getting the connecting point? Like you're watching it because you're excited to see it connected to a thing you've watched before that you've loved. So you're waiting for that stuff. And there are some exciting things that happen within that plot. Like, of course, there's like the cartel stuff that he gets involved with and like his legal stuff and how is he going to get out of this one next? Like those elements and stuff like that, which are definitely not in this show for sure. But a large majority of Better Call Saul is kind of slow. A lot of that stuff doesn't happen all the time. It's always just like, one episode in the finale, something will happen or something, you know what I mean? So
does the dialogue advance the story or is it non-relative to the storyline itself?
There's not a lot of dialogue in Pluribus. I hate to break it to you.
That's well, and that's another thing is like you gotta be able to tell if you're not gonna have a lot of dialogue because I don't know, have we reviewed a no dialogue film? I don't know. We have. I've watched a couple of them.
Sisu,
Sisu.
Basically.
You've got to tell a good story if you're going to have no dialogue or little dialogue. So,
what was the last thing we watched? I just edited a video where I literally make the point like, there's not a lot of dialogue in this. I don't remember what it was. Can't remember. But yeah, I mean, no, for sure. If you're like I said, like all is lost. There's no dialogue in that movie. I think he says like one word. But it's compelling because you're watching him in like this shitty situation. But it's kind of the same thing with this show, in my opinion. And again, I guess that's the thing is like it's subjective. Is the situation compelling enough? I think it is because I think it raises a lot of questions that I can't really say.
I thought it was going to be until it was just like the hive mind just feels like a AI. Like
even just
it doesn't feel like anything.
Even just like if you just ask yourself the question of like, oh, let me put myself in her shoes. Like, what would your opinion be? You know what I mean? Because that's really largely what that's like the only tension point really is that like she hates this and other people like are like, whatever, this is kind of dope. So even that alone, I think is interesting. So I don't know. I guess it's just a subjective thing, but I hate when people are like, oh, it's fucking boring. Like I don't think it's boring. I mean, it's just, it's definitely slow for sure, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with the finale. I'm enjoying it. I think it's really great. I think a little bit, maybe your opinion will change a little when you watch the last episode. Because it does. I mean, it's, don't get excited. It's nothing exciting. It's just like there's a little bit of character development for a particular character that I think you might find interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm sorry you don't like it, but
that's fine. I mean, I'm still watching it.
Yeah, we're still friends. It's no big deal for now. You're on strike 2 though, Martin. No, I'm kidding. What didn't you like recently that annoyed me? I can't remember. It didn't annoy me. I'm just talking with you. But yeah, it's a good show. Let us know, folks. Do you think it's boring? I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of split. And the thing that sucks is that in conversations like this, people are like, you just don't understand it because it's so sophisticated. It's like not really sophisticated at all. It's just, I think people aren't really like super paying attention, whether they know it or not. Like, I think people are just more attuned to, because think about too, like,
it's not that deep though to really
it's not
pay attention that much. So
yeah, but like
you could not be paying attention.
Yeah, but I say pay attention, but like, you know how it is. Like when you're watching something, you kind of like, you know, if something's
Yeah.
slow, your attention kind of slips, and then you start scrolling, and you're like looking back, and you're kind of hearing it, but you're not really watching it. And I try to do. I told you when I watched the movies for the podcast, like I used to, you know, for a while I was like taking notes, and I was like trying to like watch the movie, but also like frame like whatever points I wanted to make about the movie, and like write and jot, like, you know, I still jot down notes here and there of just like, oh, I want to touch on that so I don't forget. But like,
Yeah.
I realized after a while I wasn't even really like watching the thing. So now I really, and in my own like just casual watching stuff, I try to like put my phone down. I turn my second monitor off if I'm watching on my computer, or like I just try to like just watch the thing, because, you know, that's, I feel like this is boomer talk, but whether you like Pluribus or not, I feel like that's still a valid point that I'm making. Is like that has kind of just been like lost a little bit with modern technology. Yeah. Like, you have multiple screens and things and distractions and shit like that. Just watch the thing, and maybe you might like it a little bit. But that's my only thing. Because I guarantee you, like 9 times out of 10, I bet, like, not, and again, not to call you out or say you're wrong or anything, but I guarantee, like, you probably spend a lot of time watching this, like, kind of on your phone, if I had to guess, right? Like, when you start to get bored or you start to feel like it's slow, you probably pick up your phone and start scrolling and doing whatever, because that's what everybody does.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
And I also feel like, you know, Netflix being the company, the dog shit company that it is, and how it's like ruined everything. Like, it has trained our brain to this like binge watching mentality, which is not just like, oh, here's all the episodes at once, sit down and have fun and watch it. It's filmed in a very specific way to like to keep this pace where you want to keep watching it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you're watching X-Files now, you've watched The Wire, you've watched Sopranos, like you've seen what like old TV looked like. And it wasn't like that. It was like, it's filmed to be like, this is the end of this episode. Here's a little cliffhanger. See you next week, or see you next like older TV was filmed with the expectation that you were going to sit with it for a little bit. Not like,
that's true. Not
like, oh my God, adrenaline shot, entire episode, credits, 5 a.m. I gotta watch one more episode. I just gotta watch one more. Like, I think that's part of it too. But it's subconscious. You don't really think about it until you actually think about it, I feel like. I don't know. That's my only thing.
Do you have that feeling of like, oh, I can't wait to watch the next episode of Pluribus?
Yeah.
Like, you actually get that feeling?
Oh yeah. Me and my aunt are like, we talk about it every day. Like, every time we talk, we're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, I genuinely find it like very compelling. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think like nothing needs to really be happening for that. Because I know what your argument is specifically. We've talked about it. Like, I know you probably wanted like a little bit more of like a punchy thing involving the thing, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's not what they did. They were just like, hey, this is what's happening, and that's that. There's no like mystery to unfold, like in Severance, let's say. There's no like, there's nothing coming. There's no like end of the world thing happening. Like, it's just very, this is it. This is what's happening. Yeah. And so I get that totally. But yeah, I don't think, like, as I said, you're not wrong. It's, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's my take on it. So I don't know. Is Pluribus boring, folks? What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let us know. And Dusty, I can't wait for you to watch it, because I'm curious what your take will be.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch soon.
Dusty, what's going on in the endless faucet of terrible things in 2025? What's going on this week?
Well, we still got the biggest news, which is the Warner Brothers Discovery sale. We had a Paramount hostile takeover, I guess. The offer for the entirety of WWE provides $18 billion more in cash is what they wanted to give them, as like $30 a share.
Yeah.
An enterprising value of $108.4 billion.
So this is actually kind of old news, because we hadn't recorded in 2 weeks. So after the last time we recorded, the last time we talked was when we watched One Battle After Another. We had talked that was when the news broke that like Warner Brothers was getting bought by Netflix, and we had speculated like, oh, is the government gonna let this go, because they really wanted the Ellisons with Paramount to take over. Well, like 2 days after we recorded, I think the news broke that like Paramount
Ellison
was like,
said, they said we want to provide them an opportunity to consider our superior all cash offer for their shares of the entire company. And then the WBD board urged their shareholders to reject the Ellison-led proposal later, citing financial concerns and calling Ellison himself to either sign a stronger personal guarantee for the deal to happen. Said that the family's use of their revocable trust to backstop the equity portion of the bid left, quote, gaps, loopholes, and limitations. And they further stressed that it cannot know if Paramount's all-cash offer will close unless Ellison himself provides deeper commitment. So I think they're concerned about him putting the trust up since it's revocable, that, like, no, you need to put cash on the table, not just like a protected trust, because that don't really count.
Yeah, right. So he claims that he was claiming that the Paramount offer was better because of, like, I guess cash offers, right? Is what I understood.
Well, they were it was all cash and it was for everything and it was more money per share.
Yeah.
Which, because Netflix is offering like $27.30 or something, but they're only buying their digital and their media.
So Netflix CEO is still holding steady. He's saying, we're not changing anything, Warner Brothers. The theater experience is not going anywhere. But I remembered we had talked about this, and I brought it up when we were actually talking about this whole purchase too. I was like, didn't we talk about something about Netflix wanting theaters? And I actually found the article that we had talked about at the time. This is from June, so we talked about this over the summer, but Netflix houses was their plan. The first Netflix houses are coming to Philadelphia and Dallas in late 2025. Guess what? We are in late 2025. Aligns perfectly with this purchase of Warner Brothers, which begs the question, was this in the pipeline for much longer than we thought or think? But the first Netflix houses are coming to Philadelphia.
These guys have had talks and like, at some bar. Hey, you want to sell the place? I don't know. Let me think about it. Hey, are you still thinking about it? Yeah, maybe we'll put a deal together. Okay. Then lawyers. That takes a year or two. So maybe.
Netflix's plot for world domination continues with its latest scheme to be your one and only. If you're looking for at-home entertainment, open the app. If you're looking for outside-the-home entertainment, head to a Netflix house. What is a Netflix house, you ask? Basically, it sounds like if a theme park was Basically, it sounds like if a theme park was small and had no rides, just experiences. It's an escape room you could get out of, or an arcade with a very strong theme, or a movie theater surrounded by pop-up activations, or an installation at Comic-Con. It's called the Netflix House, and it's coming to a mall near you if you live in Philadelphia or Dallas. So Netflix has some plans that definitely includes the acquisition of Warner Brothers. So you might be onto something, Dusty. Like, yeah, maybe Warner Brothers shit will stay in theaters, but maybe it'll be played exclusively in Netflix theaters.
I don't think that'll be. They might have like exclusive releases. Like if you want to see this on opening weekend or before opening weekend, we'll have a premiere at our Netflix places, and then they'll do like for extra money. Like I could see them doing exclusive VIP shit like that. They also said I don't think they're going to mess with theatrical too much. I think they're happy because movies are making money in theaters.
Yes,
there's still billions of dollars to be made.
Warner Brothers movies are for sure. Yeah.
There was also a news article that said that they are going to keep DC Studios as a separate entity and allow James Gunn and Peter Safran to go ahead and continue to manage it as they see fit. So that would quell some concerns about whether or not anything was going to happen there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully. I don't know.
I bet they'll do early access premieres at the Netflix theaters.
Yeah,
but it's going to cost
that's
you
what I can
$50 Netflix subscription.
Oh yeah,
every month.
They can't break ground fast enough to build enough of these to make it in time to finish the deal. Wherein they're like, hey, we're in like 20 major cities. So if you want to watch this movie on opening weekend, only in our theaters. And then after that, like if they're in like all 50 states, then maybe they can start doing shit like that, but they're not even close to doing. They can't make it exclusive, I guess. unless they want to lose money on movies, because that would be stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, they
That would
can
be
make
really
it
stupid.
exclusive because they could just say to other theater chains, like, no, we don't want to license the movie to you.
Yeah, but they wouldn't.
They would lose money,
They'd be
yeah.
losing money.
Well,
yeah.
no, not
That-
necessarily, because I mean, they would lose money if the theaters were exclusive to Netflix users, which I'm sure that won't be the case.
It's a pipeline matter. If everybody wanted to watch Superman, but you could only watch it in 3 cities, you're not going to make $1 billion on that movie.
No, that's 100. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Will they have enough? They would have to have a carpet of theaters across the country. Yes,
Correct.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I mean,
and we're not there yet.
but
They got 2, right? That was that article. They got 2
Right.
in this year.
But listen, that's not that hard. All they got to do is cut some checks to buy some theaters. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they could buy some.
Hey,
that's
AMC,
probably what they're.
let me buy fucking
yeah.
30 of your fucking theaters
Buy
in
an
New
old
York.
mall with a movie theater inside of it and turn it
Yeah.
into another Netflix
Yeah.
event. Yeah.
Them
yeah,
buying
sure.
a fucking theater or a mall is like me going to 7-Eleven and buying a fucking hot dog. You know what I mean? It's like nothing to them.
Sure.
They need to buy my local theater. This shit is terrible.
Yo, Netflix, hit up Marvin. He'll
Yeah.
hook you up. You could be
Yeah.
the middleman, Marvin. Maybe that's your.
It's my calling, running a theater.
First of all, that's my dream. So fuck off. Stop sipping on my Kool-Aid. But no, I was saying that's your get rich quick scheme right there. You just be the middleman.
yeah.
You just hook them up. Another funny thing. So remember, this was backed by Saudi Arabia for some reason is involved with this. And
Oh
like,
yeah, that shit.
but the hostile takeover news came like literally the next day after dear
Mhm.
leader himself said publicly, like, oh, I don't know, this Netflix deal could be a problem. I'll have to look into it. And then literally the next day, David Ellison was like, yeah, we're going to do this hostile takeover bid. David Ellison also allegedly assured Trump that, if he bought Warner Brothers, that he would make major changes to CNN. Wow, what a surprise. I couldn't see that coming. So interesting to keep track of, but I'm glad they're holding steady. I think the general...
Neither of these technically should pass regulatory muster,
right.
but
Right, but
Right.
the what I was just going to say is the general consensus from a lot of people that I think who have been responding to our clips online and stuff like that have been pretty much echoing what we've echoed, that like, listen, if it has to happen, if they have to get sold, like Netflix is the better of two evils at this point. Like it's better than owning literally everything. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, see what happens.
you were talking pretty critical of the Netflix owner when we were
No,
talking about.
no.
No,
No. I'm critical. I think it's terrible.
This guy's I think Cretan or something.
I said that he is a ghoul, is what I said.
a ghoul.
I said he's a ghoul and that he was born in the mud pits from Lord of the Rings where the orcs come from.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. However, I'm just saying, between the two of them, I mean, what am I going to do? I don't
Sure,
have a
yeah,
choice. I might
yeah.
as well. I don't want the Ellisons to own it.
The
That's for
orcs
damn sure.
versus Satan.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, we got Spider-Man Brand New Day. They officially wrapped filming. It's been a couple weeks now, but Marvel's actually released a synopsis for the film. So after the world has forgotten his name, Peter Parker begins a new chapter in his life, balancing college classes, part-time work, and his responsibility as New York's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But when a mysterious force begins to unravel the city from the inside out, Peter finds himself caught between powerful enemies, old legacies, and unexpected allies. As shadows form, the past creep into his present, he must redefine what it truly means to be a hero on his own. So there it is.
Compelling stuff.
Film now has a post-production after 128 days shoot across the UK. Bernthal commented on his appearance and how it relates to the short. I think what was really important to me and to Destin Daniel Cretton, he says, and to Tom, is we believe that the Punisher could walk off the Spider-Man set and could walk onto the special set, and I do believe that we achieved that. So
Yeah, isn't that the whole
We got the
point of
Punisher
having a
special
shared
coming.
universe?
yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see it.
Just interesting comment.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it is. Yeah, I am. This dawned on me the other day. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Marvin probably doesn't really give a fuck because he doesn't really care about Marvel anyway. But I don't know how about you feel, Dusty. I have like probably less than 0% interest in anything that MCU is doing at this point in time. And I think it's going to take a lot for me to like get back into it.
I somewhat agree with that. I still have, because I'm still waiting for the X-Men, and Jesus Christ, it's been so long.
At this rate, Jesus Christ might be
with
in the
interest
X-Men.
in what they're doing right now, like because Blade is not on the docket, and it's all these characters, like they're bringing everybody back to the hoopla to do the goodbye, so they can reboot the whole thing and bring in all the new characters. Like,
so you want
it's largely uninteresting right now because you know what's happening in.
Okay, so your side of it is there's like specific characters that you want to see, that you're waiting to see.
Yeah, I want. Yeah,
Okay.
Bring on the X-Men. What are we doing? Where are the fucking mutants? Like,
So we've
enough already. Make the goddamn movie.
Kamala Khan's a mutant. So we've talked about this quite a bit. You've speculated like for a long time they're going to reboot. They have to reboot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Clearly they're doing the reboot now because that's what Secret Wars
you
is.
want an Avengers versus the X-Men movie.
Well,
like,
no, but
if
hold
you
up.
can throw that into the MCU, they are gonna do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. But forget that. You've been talking for a long time that they've got to reboot now. Like, it's because we want to see characters that are dead or retired or whatever.
Iron Man and Captain America are important to storylines.
Right. So your speculation for a while was they're going to reboot. Clearly, Secret Wars is a reboot. It served as a reboot in the comics. There's no reason why it wouldn't serve as a reboot here. Question for you now, because this week, aside from the Spider-Man trailer leaking, which I haven't seen, the first of 4 teasers for Avengers Doomsday leaked. Did you watch that one?
No, I have not. No, I'll wait for them to officially come out. And
it's nothing crazy. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. It's
okay.
It's surprise. Steve Rogers is coming back, but the trailer's like focused around him. So they're releasing 3 trailers. The first one is 4 trailers. First one is Steve Rogers trailer. Second one is Doctor Doom trailer. So Robert Downey Jr. Third trailer is Thor, and the fourth one is like the Avengers Doomsday proper teaser. So they're bringing back the big 3, and like this trailer was like it's Steve Rogers riding up the road on a motorcycle, but you don't know it's him yet. It's just a guy on a motorcycle, and he steps off, and you see his boot, and then you realize, oh, fuck, Steve Rogers, and he's like looking at his Captain America costume, and he's in the house where he danced with Peggy, and then he's holding a baby, and he's like looking at the baby. And it's playing like the slow, somber piano Avengers music. Dun, 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 dun. And then it goes to black and it says Steve Rogers will return, Avengers Doomsday. And I love Steve Rogers. You know that. Cap is my favorite. Cap is probably my second favorite hero next to Superman. Zero excitement for this. Like it's just so cheap. And like and I've been feeling this way. We've talked about it since they announced Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Dr. Doom. And we all knew that was a cash grab. That was like a desperate attempt to pull the fans back in after these last 6 years. When did Endgame come out? Marvin, can I get a date check? Jamie, can you look that up?
April 26, 2019.
So it's been 6 years since that had come out. In the last 6 years, there is not one single thing that the MCU has produced, show or movie wise, that like it has stuck in my memory. That I'm like, wow, that was good. There's been stuff I've liked. I liked Loki season 2. I thought that was great. I've liked Shang-Chi. I've liked Agatha. Like I've liked a lot of the stuff. It's just nothing.
Their specials were good. The Christmas special, and
you know what's funny? I completely forgot about Agatha until you just mentioned to this very moment.
So good.
It was good, yeah. But I completely forgot about it, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever people could say, you know, it's not. I'm, you know, right now I just got to be clear. It's not because it's woke or there's women in it or black people or whatever. The shit that they were putting out was just not good. Okay, it wasn't fleshed out. They didn't make you care about anybody. And now that Doomsday is coming up, there is zero.
You never watched Ironheart, did you?
No, I forgot it existed. There is zero
I didn't watch it yet either.
There is zero like emotion on the line here. Like I have no emotional attachment to anybody who's going to be in this movie, and they know that, and that's why they're like, all right, bring back the big three.
I'm looking forward to Sacha Cohen Baron as Mephisto showing back up again. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
showing back up and doing something.
Yeah,
and Thor. I don't know how they're going to finish his story because I know Chris Hemsworth is interested in doing one more.
Here's my bigger question for you.
If it's done right.
Here's my bigger question for you. We've argued about this. Do they have to reboot?
We have.
Yes or no?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, they're rebooting. Do you think that they are giving? Do you think that these guys now accepted a boatload of money to just come back as the characters, or you think they're going to recast them? This signals to me that they just gave them a boatload of money to just come back and play the characters again.
No, I don't.
Like, hey, Chris Evans, you
under a long-term plan, they
years?
can't. No,
you don't think so?
No, they need a younger because they need. This is a point where like you can go with the multiversal story and you can wipe everything out and reset the slate, and you can cast all new characters.
Yeah,
and you can cast the young people who you want to keep around for like, hey, this is an important character. We might need you for 10 or 15 years. But it's only going to be a couple movies. You know, it's not going to be like what they did in the past where we want you to do 4 shows and 7 movies and you're not going to be able to do anything else in your life. I think actors, some might be on for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If they, I mean, going forward, if they are going to bounce back and like correct.
Clean slate. Yeah.
Well, clean slate for one, but I think they got to just ditch the show concept. It's just, it's not working for them. It's actually ruined shit. It's made, I think the addition of the shows is the primary reason for this, because there's just too much stuff. Even for somebody like us who like we watch this shit like it's our jobs because we love it. Like even me, I'm like, oh fuck, I totally forgot that show existed. I totally forgot this show existed.
Okay,
because they got into a place of quantity over quality. That's the number one issue.
Right. So here's the problem, and this is it's a dynamic problem that you actually also have a problem with the other way.
You can still have shows,
when we talk about DC, right, and the DC universe, you are not happy with the Elseworlds and the storylines that aren't in. So you want a monetized, standardized, not monetized. You want a standardized universe. You don't want these side stories, but the universe has to make sense. But you can't keep all these characters in the universe, and you know what I'm saying?
No.
So if you go back to prior to the MCU taking over, when you had the MCU just started and Feige let Netflix do their own Marvel stuff. They let NBC do their own Marvel stuff, a la
yes,
on my favorite
Shield,
Agents
of
Shield. Yeah. So are you happy with going back to that, where we tell stories around characters in their own universe separate from the official MCU, where it's an Elseworld? Or does it need to be where like it is now, where every show has to tie into every movie, has to tie into every special?
I think you just copy the James Gunn model. It's easy. The pace at which he seems to be releasing stuff seems really good to me. It feels good. We don't need 65 shows where it's like genuinely, there's shit that I forget.
Nah, we don't need that.
There's shit that Marvel did that I totally forgot. I forgot Moon Knight was a show. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody's like, what's going on where's Moon Knight? Where's
what's going on with anything they created?
Moon Knight, bro.
They're all over the place. It's crazy.
I mean, I didn't really pull up too many details on this because it's just such a sad story. But yeah, Rob Reiner found dead in his home with his wife by allegedly the hands of his son. Yeah.
Well, his son apparently, I didn't really look too much into it. It just sucked that he passed away. But his son apparently had a long history of like he had like a troubled past with drugs and stuff like that and addiction. And but yeah, so they found him and his wife stabbed to death. And there's been a really good outpouring of stuff, like, you know, because he's a beloved both actor and filmmaker. Only one person really didn't have anything nice to say, and that was Dear Leader himself.
He's Rob Reiner is a tremendous filmmaker, a wonderful person, according to people. But he was very inflammatory on social media, as Trump is, I think.
Politics aside, he's probably one of the most wide-ranged directors that I've ever seen.
Very talented filmmaker.
He's made some fantastic, like, I don't know if he's made a bad movie, but just to roll off some, like, he started his directing career with This Is Spinal Tap, which I know is one of your favorite movies, right? You've mentioned before you were excited for the sequel. Did you ever watch the sequel yet? Because I haven't.
No, I actually have not yet.
That had come out just this year. This Is Spinal Tap is, of course, the, I guess, fake documentary about a band, an English band. It's a very funny movie. But then he went on to direct one of my favorite comedies of the 80s, The Sure Thing, with John Cusack, where he goes off to basically get laid, like a college trip to get laid, like, but it's like a guaranteed thing, a sure thing, which is a great movie. And then he goes on to do Stand By Me, which we're talking about today, which is a fantastic like coming of age drama. The Princess Bride, one of the greatest comedies ever. When Harry Met Sally, my second favorite movie of all time. We've watched it on the show here a couple years back. We made Marvin watch it. Potentially created the blueprint for what modern day rom-coms are. Then he did another Stephen King adaptation. Also one of the best Stephen King adaptations, Misery. He's done A Few Good Men, The American President, Ghosts of Mississippi. He's just
talented writer. He writes. He wrote for the Emmy Awards. He did some stuff uncredited. I think he wrote a lot of Billy Crystal specials. A lot of comic relief stuff. Just funny guy. Big loss. Very sad. I mean, it's never, it sucks to see anybody pass away, but it's not like he died of old age or anything or an illness. He was murdered. Rest in peace to Rob Reiner.
Rest in peace.
Let's get into today's review, folks. Once a month, Dusty and I take turns picking a movie that we think Marvin should see that he hasn't. And again, given the recent events and the fact that Stephen King is very prominent this year, I thought it was the perfect time to make Marvin watch Stand By Me, which might be one of the best Stephen King adaptations there is. It's certainly, I would say, it's certainly up there. But this movie came out in 1986, the year I was born. So we've spent 40 years misremembering Stand By Me as this sort of like warm hug. Yeah. People treat this movie, if you look at some of the, if you just scroll through IMDb and read some of the comments on this movie, people treat it like this sort of like golden era memory of what it means to be a kid, which it certainly is that. And it's regarded as the best coming of age movie that exists. And it certainly is. But I think the reason that it actually holds that crown is because it's a movie that doesn't really lie to you. It's not really a celebration of youth the way people kind of see it as. It's more of a eulogy of youth. And so I wanted to talk about this movie in a way that breaks down like really why this is the best coming of age story ever told, but not because it makes us feel good, but because it's really truthful to what it is to really grow up, which is a slow process of losing everything that matters in your life.
Right.
So let's get into it. So as we said, this is based on a Stephen King novella called The Body. And this was directed by Rob Reiner. And it's a very simple story. It's about a writer who's recounting his childhood journey with his friends to find a body of a missing boy. And it takes place in the 1950s, I think 1959 or something like that is the bulk of the story. An insane cast of actors who have gone on to become, much more famous. Richard Dreyfuss, John Cusack, Kiefer Sutherland, Jerry O'Connell, Corey Feldman, River Phoenix, which is a tragedy in and of itself. That's like a whole separate conversation you could have regarding this movie. So, awesome. I guess you'd call it an ensemble cast.
Mm-hmm.
And again, very, very simple story. So, I guess out of the gate, Marvin, what'd you think for your first time watching this?
I to first go in and thought this was like that kind of like, oh man, this is like a friendly, like.
Real quick, not to
ahead.
cut you off. I'm sure you've heard of this movie before, right?
Yeah.
You must have seen the movie posters and have heard the movie. Obviously, you know the song. It's not that the song is made from the movie, but like,
Yeah.
they're kind of inherently tied
definitely know the
together now. So
Yeah.
I guess what were your expectations going into it?
The same as how people probably remember it as like, oh, this is going to be like a great movie of childhood and like that sort of thing. But it's a little darker than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I don't know if I personally had friends like this. For me, it was just cousins, really, honestly. Like I didn't have close friends at that young age.
That counts, though.
I was always, yeah, I mean, yeah, it counts. It counts. I was super impressed with this movie, honestly. I think I would agree that it's probably like the best like coming of age type story. The one kid, I forgot what you said his name was.
River Phoenix's
played,
character, Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like super. He felt so wise for his age.
Mature, yeah.
Super mature, yeah.
I mean, you don't get a lot of his backstory, but you get a little bit to know why. Like he obviously has an abusive, drunk father.
Yeah.
And a shitty brother who's like
that.
the town scumbag, basically. His family's just not respected, is what it is. They're just crooks, criminals, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This movie still just proves again that Stephen King is not just the horror king, people. Like, we got to stop putting him into that box. Like, he's just an amazing storyteller.
And what's the one thing
even like a story within a story, like that funny little lard, whatever they call the guy.
Lard ass.
Like, that was like crazy to be a story within a story.
Was it the Barfarama or whatever?
Barfarama, yeah. That I can see why people consider this the best adaptation. I think it would certainly be up there. There's so many good ones, but it's definitely like top 3, top 5-ish. Stephen
Definitely.
King for sure.
It's a little different than the book or the short story. The body is actually even darker than this is.
Oh wow.
If I remember correctly, it goes more specifically into like some of the kids' traumas and things like that. It puts a little bit more detail onto it.
Yeah, but I thought this was great. It was like, I like how they put the emphasis on like staying true to yourself and like keeping people that keep you true to yourself, like around you, like not just because like his parents and everyone is trying to force him to not be this writer, but his friends are like encouraging him to do that. It, like, that's what makes you special. You got a gift.
Yeah.
So there was some positivity in there as well. So yeah, I thought it was great.
I mean, it's really messages about your family versus your chosen family, right? Like all these kids have troubled family lives, but it's their friends who make them, I guess, really who they are at the end, because they stand by each other, right? Like they're a positive force in each other's lives, which is what friendship should be. Yeah. So a lot of good takeaways. So you enjoyed it overall. Glad.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Dusty?
Yeah, it's a great movie, a classic film. As far as best coming of age story, it's up there. Would I give it the top? I don't know. You'd have to divvy them up into different categories for me, because you have the more lighthearted ones like The Sandlot or Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, etc. Then you have some of the more serious ones like Dead Poets Society, Stand By Me. I don't know if you'd consider My Girl a coming of age story.
Oh,
but
definitely, yeah.
The ones that focus more on tragedy and death and the reality of life versus some of the more feel good stuff. They both have their places and they're both great. And this one does a pretty good job, I think, of showing you both sides, like that feel good aspect of it, but also the reality. It embellishes both sides, but it doesn't go too far to make it feel one way or the other. It's just a really good, like, this is life. And I was 6 years old when this fucking movie came out. And it was,
That's crazy.
I mean, life wasn't all that different then, even though it took place in the 50s. Like, we could run around in the country like that if we wanted to every now and again for a day or so, camping out. But
yeah,
it was, I love this movie. It's great.
Yeah, it's certainly a classic. Interesting. I haven't seen it in many years. I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm only a few months away from my 40th birthday, so it definitely has a little bit of a different tinge to it than it did when I watched it back in the day. But I think the reason I'm saying, I mean, it's widely considered like the best coming of age story, but I don't think it's for the reason that everybody thinks. Everybody sees it as like this, like, oh, like childhood was so great and it was so much fun and this, that, and everything, which totally fine. That's great.
right.
But the movie doesn't, it like I said, it frames childhood as like it's not a celebration of it. It's like a eulogy for it. It's like the death of innocence and like growing up sucks for a lot of reasons, but not because you're not a kid anymore, but because it's just what life is, right? It's like, I don't know, it's just a very realistic telling of like what happens when you get older. Like just bad stuff happens. Like,
everything changes and he explains it perfectly. Shout out Richard Dreyfuss, great narration in this movie. He's like, when we got back to the town, like it was different. It felt smaller. And like, that's that whole, like every day can be big changes or little changes, but every day is changes because that's all life is change. Like we measure it through time and we don't even really know what the fuck time is, but we measure it. So
a lot of people, like when they recall this movie, they think it's like this nostalgia trip about like friendship, but I don't think it's really that. Like it kind of is, but it's more of like just a grim telling of like just what happens as you age. And the movie opens specifically with that, where it's like he's reading the newspaper. It says Chris. He's reading the paper that shows that Chris Chambers.
When I had that realization, dude, I was like, oh.
Yeah. How quickly did it take you to realize that? Like connect the name Chris.
And when he
quick
at the end.
Oh, at the end. Okay.
At the end when he was like typing up, when he was actually typing up the story and.
But did you notice the newspaper in the beginning when he's in the car?
I noticed it at the beginning, and I know that they showed it for a reason, but it left my mind pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they open the movie with that, where it's like, yeah, this isn't a happy ending, really.
Right.
And it's not a happy ending in like any way, because as he gives his like, you know, his send off, he's like, yeah, so and so, we've lost touch, and like,
yeah.
And then he died.
That's a big thing too, like losing touch. It's so easy to lose touch, and I feel like,
well,
Stephen King is kind of like. With this, he's telling you like, man, you should keep in touch with your childhood friends or get in touch with them if you haven't been in touch with them. Like,
well, that too, but also like, no, I don't actually agree. I think it's more of just like, because it's just like, well, this is just the reality of things. Like, and I had this realization when I was watching at the end of the movie. He types up like, I've never had friends like the ones I had when I was 12.
Yeah,
like Jesus does anybody. I don't have that experience. You don't have that experience. Like I was very close with my friends growing up until about high school. And my friends within the neighborhood that I was friends with, that were this group of friends to me, that we did all this type of shit with, never poked dead bodies or nothing, but like their parents sent them to this like Catholic high school that's local, private school. And I didn't want to go. So my parents kept me in public school. That was it. We lost touch. Kids I grew up with my whole life, knew them from kindergarten. Easy as that. They went on and got new friends in their high school. I got friends in my high school, and that was the end of it. And
Yeah.
so I would say you guys are better friends than those guys were.
Mm.
So for me, my experience was different. Like the friends that I've made like later in life.
But you didn't have any friends in preschool, kindergarten through elementary and that went to the same high school as you?
No, of course I did, but they weren't as close as the guys that live. Like I had
Okay,
friends, we
yeah.
all lived within like a couple of blocks of each other.
Sure. I don't know. Yeah. I grew up in a small town, but I had like, there's two, I think, friends that like kindergarten on through high school that I still keep in touch with. And then there's a couple more that came in and out in elementary or high school that I'm friends with that I still keep in touch with. But there's a couple I still, like one or two from just growing up. And one of them didn't live near me. It was just because we were in a small town and we were in the same grade.
Yeah. I mean, but I just think that this movie portrays a starker reality of what really does happen. It's like most oftentimes you don't stay in touch with your childhood friends. And most oftentimes your childhood friends are not the best friends you'll ever have in your life. You know what I mean? They're kind of just the ones that are there.
Yeah, for sure.
Which sounds cold, but that's the truth of it. You're a kid. You don't really have a choice.
I mean, it's different. Yeah. And you're not, it wasn't like any internet or anything. So it's not like you're
and
looking for people with the same interests.
Right.
You know, like
it was who was going outside and riding their bike or going to the park at that time.
And it doesn't mean they don't make an impact on you. Of course they do, and they're special in your life. But just the way the movie frames is the end. He's like, you watch them go through this thing together, and they're all close, and they're leaning on each other, and they're there for each other. And then at the end of the movie, it's just very casual. It's like, oh yeah, Gordy. We lost touch with both Gordy. We lost touch with both Teddy and Vern during high school or whatever. We don't know what happened to them. Teddy ended up in jail, we heard, or something. Does jobs around town. Vern got married and had 9 kids or whatever. Like, that's it. You just lose touch with people. That's just what happens. And I've lost touch with people that I made friends with in high school. And like you just slowly but surely as you grow up, your friend group starts to dwindle down to the people that like, I guess are the closest to you or the ones that matter the most to you. But another thing that stands out about this movie as opposed to other coming of age movies, you mentioned The Sandlot. I was going to actually mention Sandlot too. That's another really great movie, but this is one of the only ones that I know of that really treats the characters like adults. It deals with their problems as with like adult gravity and not like kid movie whimsy that you see a lot of the time. Like The Sandlot is a kid movie.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I wouldn't even say it treats them like adults. It just treats them like
it treats their
actual
issues.
People.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but their problems
not just like
It's more of an adult movie than it is a kids movie. Is what I'm saying. Really.
Yeah.
Like
I think so.
They all come from abusive households of some kind, and like.
But I think kids and adults can gain from
absolutely
watching this movie.
Totally, yeah.
It's through the lens of. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say it's through the lens of, whereas like the Sandlot, it's still, I guess he's telling a story as the kid, like, right? Because it's still got narration, but in this, he's reminiscing as an old man about all the kids. So he has that adult experience wherein he's telling the story. Whereas like the Sandlot, it feels like it's a kid telling story from a kid's perspective.
Yeah, but the Sandlot is also narrated by an adult.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Sandlot, Marvin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar.
I see what
movie.
he's saying, though.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and two, the other thing too is like the whole movie is just like a fleeting memory, really. When you break it down,
Right.
It's just like he saw the newspaper and he's like, "Oh fuck, I used to know that guy. We were close once."
Right.
And like he remembers this thing that happened in their childhood, and then he moves on and goes to hang out with his kids or his kid and his kid's friend or whatever. So it is
because you can't. It's like you can't dwell. I guess it's trying to say like you can't dwell on this stuff too. Like
but it's just interesting that like moments that were so massive and major to you and people that were so important to you eventually just become fleeting memories, right? They're just gone with the wind. It's like
that's
sad.
real.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's sad too.
Super real. Yeah.
So yeah, there's no like positivity in this movie really. It's pretty depressing, honestly. I don't know.
There is some positivity. Like I said, like
think so.
He stuck with his dream of being a writer. He didn't let
that's true.
The outside influences, like the people that were around him then helped him. So
yeah, no, that's true. So yeah, I don't know.
Just kids dealing with the trauma of adults being
the worst parents ever. Are all adults in the 50s just terrible parents? Or
Stephen King adults are terrible.
the thing is,
I don't know. I don't think
really,
it's just Stephen King though. I've never seen a good adult in the 50s.
It was a different time, Marvin. It was a different time.
A good parent.
It's hard to argue that there are actually adults because we defined adults as like grown juvenile beings or whatever you want to, but like we don't have this shit figured out and we're still trying to figure it out day by day. Like I think that's like
that's
irony,
true.
and like there's no real, we're all still just kind of like, well, I think I got to figure it out. Oh no, I guess I don't got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
for a cast of alt kids, what do we think of the cast? I think the cast is fantastic. They do a great job. Obviously River Phoenix was, a fantastic actor. Ahead of his time, unfortunately passed away when he was 21, I think, or 23. Yeah. You're not familiar with River Phoenix? So that's Joaquin Phoenix's brother.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he died outside of a club called the Viper Room in LA. I believe he was 21.
He's killed?
He overdosed.
Yeah. Drugs.
There's actually a
child actor, young Indiana Jones.
There's a phone call of River Phoenix as a kid calling 911, I think. I'm pretty sure, where he's like, please, that's my brother, please. Something like that. And he was he was like a really cool dude. He was an activist from a young age. He was like a vegan from the age of 7 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And he was just overall seemed like a really cool guy. In fact, in 2020, when Joaquin Phoenix won his Oscar for Best Actor for Joker, he quoted River Phoenix, that a quote that would only be like a couple of years after this movie. He was 14 when this movie came out. So River Phoenix quoted him. He said, "My brother wrote this lyric when he was 17. Run to the rescue with kindness and peace will follow." So he was just like an overall good dude. And it's really sad that he died so young. And it adds like an extra weight, I think, to this movie. Because obviously he, it's just, I don't know, it just adds, like, it always did to me, like knowing River Phoenix died young, it added
his character never actually made it out in the real world. Yeah.
It just
added weight.
Yeah. It adds a little bit of weight to it for me. But yeah, he passed away. Let's see, when he was 23. So, very, very sad. But yeah, his acting, he's phenomenal in this movie. All the kids really are, even though there's some like, hokey 80s writing and shit like that. It feels all fine though, because they're kids and it worked with the times, the 50s. And the movie's genuinely funny too. Like there's a lot of like funny moments in this movie, or like, and that's the stuff that is nostalgic about being a kid, like how you with your friend. I still do that shit where you bust your friend's balls and like talk shit, and it's all in good fun and it doesn't really mean anything, Yeah.
Yeah. I do think River carried this movie. I honestly think Corey Feldman is like maybe the greatest child actor of all time. He's just so good, because he was also in Goonies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's in everything.
He played like a similar. He always plays like that kind of similar role.
Yeah, he was in the Goonies. He's in everything. I think he just had a good agent. Is really what it was. Like this was in everything.
Everything. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're not wrong. He is up there. He's a goat. Go to the 80s child actors. I would say Macaulay Culkin might be the best, but
yeah, maybe.
Come on, Marvin.
I don't know about that.
Marvin is a Corey Feldman stan.
Yes, I am. He's good.
And I don't know if you know Jerry O'Connell, but like he's unrecognizable as a child. It's so funny that when the realization that.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that's him.
That's him. He was the little chubby kid, Vern.
Holy shit!
Yeah, right.
That's amazing.
Wow. Kiefer Sutherland is also great in this movie as just like the generic 50s bully.
Yeah,
dude. The Grease style.
The Greaser,
villain.
mad at the world for no reason.
So funny, yeah.
American Graffiti.
Yeah, I love Kiefer Sutherland. He also again obviously went on to become like a huge actor, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You got a more
I actually
positive?
saw something from him the other day. He made some weird offhand comment in an interview where he said, like, man, after 24, I thought I was going to have so many options. I thought people were going to be kicking my door. And he's like, it really wasn't, like, for whatever reason, like that show and the character he played, Jack.
Kiefer Sutherland said that?
Yeah. He
Nice.
said he didn't get as many opportunities as he thought he would after that show because it was a big show.
So,
Man,
yeah, I've never watched 24.
Hmm.
So Marvin, you came away with a more positive take than me. Why do you think it is that a lot of people remember this movie like kind of, I guess, the way you are taking it, like where it's like more of like this reminds me of like a happy time rather than me. I'm just like, nah, this was bleak.
Well, I think if you're talking about people just that are just remembering that haven't actually watched it recently, their brain is probably just blocking out.
You just read
bad
all
shit.
the reviews on it. It's just like, oh man, this movie was this
That's
just
what I'm saying.
reminds you
They
of a
probably
better
haven't
time.
actually. Well, I don't know. If they actually watched it and they're saying that, then that's weird. But if they're just thinking about it, then their brain is probably blocking out all the bad shit because it is mostly like negative
Yeah.
or not. It's just like, it's just realistic, you know, like, I don't know.
I mean, so I guess I could speak to the well, what's the word? The affinity for it as someone who grew up in the era, but like I remember growing up running through creeks, you know, trying not to
Yeah.
step on snakes and shit,
You grew
or
up in the 50s?
riding dirt. No, but
I know, you said
growing up
the
in
era.
the country.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, you know, small towns are
and
different.
the analog, the 80s was still analog, so yeah,
No,
we weren't digital yet.
Well,
You had to
and
go
small
out.
towns are just slower. Like when I
Yeah,
moved back
but-
here, it's just
yeah.
things
less
move
to
slower.
do.
Like time moves slower in smaller
Riding
towns.
dirt bikes down country roads, trying not to get chased by the local pack of dogs that are coming at you. Swimming through lakes and creeks and
Six
swamps
balls.
and picking
Dusty grew up in the
leeches
Great
off
Depression.
like I remember running around in
Packs
the
of
countryside
dogs.
and doing all this shit. So
No, me too. And I'm only a couple years younger than you. I'm not a fuck 10-year-old. Come on, give me some credit. We used to do this shit too. Like you were walking through the creeks and shit and through,
You didn't have creeks.
Yeah, we did.
You just had roads,
We just have roads.
buildings.
Nah, bro. What do you think? I could buy? No, we do. And also, we hung out by the train tracks too. I could have easily got. I've stood by train tracks literally this close to a fucking train passing, but where you feel like pull you in. I've done some. I've done some
That's so
stupid
dumb.
shit in my life. I could have easily not be here right now just from being a dumbass.
Nah, I feel the same way though. Like I've done dumbass shit where I've gotten lucky where it didn't go bad.
Yeah,
Just like could have broken multiple limbs and shit. I've never had broken a limb.
neither have I. Have you,
but
Dusty?
I've gotten so close.
Yep. I broke these two bones when I was in the 3rd grade swinging on the monkey bars.
I fractured
Oh,
my
shit.
wrist or sprained it or something when I was younger. But
Yeah, I
that was
broke
it.
my wrist. I got a boxing break in my hand one time trying to punch a solid oak door, but
Nice.
it was better than punching the person I wanted to punch.
There you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic movie. Now, Marvin, curious if you caught the Stephen King universe little Easter egg there in the beginning.
And I just kept thinking Pennywise was gonna jump out and
Hey, listen, this isn't Derry. This is Castle Rock.
I know.
Derry's a
And
couple
this is
more.
Arkansas, right?
No, this is Maine. I don't know where it was
This is
filmed.
Maine?
Well, in the story it is. I don't know where it was filmed, but he says I grew up in a town called Castle Rock. Castle Rock is one of the towns in Stephen King's universe. It's Derry, Castle Rock, and Jerusalem's Lot, aka Salem's Lot. They're 3 neighboring towns.
Oh, okay.
So Derry is not too far away. And at the very same time, while these kids were dealing with existential crises of growing up, another group of kids was dealing with a fucking murderous clown a couple miles away.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. They could have had bigger problems, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
But
Oh, this says Castle Rock, Oregon, fictional town.
oh, so so they kept the town Castle Rock, but they changed the state because Castle Rock is one of Stephen King's settings, and most of his books take place in Maine.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, like Derry is a stand-in for Bangor, where he grew up. Then there's Castle Rock is one of the towns in his books. Jerusalem's Lot, which is short. Salem's Lot is short for Jerusalem's Lot. Salem's Lot, the end of the word Jerusalem. So yeah. But yeah, fantastic movie overall. Great story. I think I saw the movie originally when I was younger. I think this, to go back to what we were talking about earlier, I think it does work for both adults and children to watch this. Yeah, a little bit, maybe not super young, but
of course, yeah.
But I think watching it now as an adult, it definitely hits a little bit different because, we're at that age where Richard Dreyfuss's character
PG,
is
right?
Yeah, rated R.
Or was it PG-13 because oh, really?
Yeah, rated R. Got guns.
This is a dead body.
Smoking. Got dead body. A lot of R words in this. A lot of F words in this.
Smoking. Yeah, it's the language. And because there's not a whole lot of violence. There's a little bit of violence. There's the dead body and the blood and the language.
The book is worse. There's like animal abuse in the book and like some other shit.
Yeah.
I think the bullies are more bullyish in the book, if I remember correctly. But yeah, glad you liked it overall, Marvin. So where would you rank this among Stephen King adaptations, at least the ones that you've seen so far? Like, I know you've seen Shawshank. I know you've seen The Green Mile. You've seen It now. Yeah. You've seen a lot of them. You haven't seen the original Salem's Lot, but you've seen the new Salem's Lot, so you're at least somewhat familiar with the story. Long Walk.
Yeah.
Life of Chuck.
I mean, I did like this a lot, but it's probably like 6 or 7 or something.
Oh, wow. So it's down there. Okay. Have you seen...
Well, it's just... Yeah.
Have you seen Misery?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And you've seen The Shining? So. Damn.
Yep.
You got a lot of Stephen King under your belt. Probably didn't even know it. There's probably movies you've seen you don't even know are Stephen King shit.
Well, I told you in a couple episodes ago, I didn't know Shawshank was a Stephen King adaptation.
Right, yeah.
So like I don't think I knew Misery was. I definitely didn't know Green Mile was. So like
Okay. How about you, Dusty? Where would you rank this among Stephen King adaptations?
It's a top 10. I don't know if it's a top 5, but it probably should be.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't my top 3 up until this year. Life of Chuck and Long Walk, I think, might have bumped it out of its spot. Because I like those movies a lot. Yeah. But it's still, it's definitely up there. But yeah, so this movie has a long-standing legacy. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon in terms of like popularity. But it's got an 8.1 on IMDb. Well, actually, is there anything else you guys wanted to mention about it before we move on?
Let me see.
Go watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
Facts.
I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a long-standing legacy. It will continue to be up there in the the pantheon of great films. I don't know. Hopefully younger audiences will like find their way to it at some point. I don't know. I feel like this is something you would watch on your own, Marvin. Like if we weren't here to like force you to watch it,
Yeah. Sadly, it wouldn't have been probably just because, I mean, I don't even know how I would have.
Yeah. It's just older. It's like, low key, but it's definitely worth watching. It's got an 8.1 on IMDb. Where would you rate it, Marvin?
I'm trying to think. If there was,
I'll tell you my rating if it'll help. It's a 10 for me. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to. It's probably just a 10. I don't think I had any issues with it.
What's wrong with it? Nothing wrong with it.
Perfect.
Actually, there is one small thing wrong with it. I don't know if you guys noticed it. I had to rewind it like 4 times, but in the very beginning of the movie, when there's the wide shot of who is supposed to be Richard Dreyfuss sitting in the car, it is clearly not Richard Dreyfuss sitting in the car.
I didn't see it.
It's like a wide shot of his silhouette, and it's like just a different person, and then they cut to him actually in the car. Very funny. But yeah, no, this is a 10 for sure. 10 for you,
I think
Marvin,
they
too, right?
Stuck it. This is an 8 for me.
An 8.
It's a great
okay.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, not a 9, but an 8. There's
Not a 9.
We have to
Oof.
reaffirm the rules for anybody who's new. Dusty does not give anything a perfect score, number 1. Number 2, 9 is his perfect.
Yeah.
10 doesn't even exist in his book.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
an 8
So
is the
basically you
closest.
add
Hey,
one
listen,
to
this is
whatever.
what I was.
Yeah.
I was complaining to Christina about this the other day. Like
This
I opened
movie?
up Google Maps. No.
Oh.
This trend in general. I opened up Google Maps and like because we were downtown, we were in a different part of town, and she wanted to see if some place was open. And I'm like, literally every restaurant. It's either a 4.1 or a 4.6 or somewhere in between.
Right.
Like, why can't we have 1 to 5 stars anymore? Why is everything 4 stars except it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, what are we even doing with rating shit anymore? Like, not everything is 4 or 5 stars. If it's 3, give it a 3. If it's 2, say it sucks. Not everything is 4 stars. I'm sick of it.
Let him know.
Give it a good rating. But and with that being said, this is an 8. It's a great movie. Go watch it.
That's as close to perfect as you're going to get from Dusty, folks. So that should be indicator in and of itself. That alone should make you run out to go watch this. Go watch it wherever you can. Great movie. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of it. If you've seen it, obviously, if there's anything we've missed talking about it, chime in, give us your thoughts. And again, if you have not seen it, highly recommend it. We do this once a week. We will be back next week with what did we say we were watching next week? Caught Stealing. So we post our schedule in the Discord. I have to update it, which I will do after this. But you can join our Discord for free. We post some like news stories and trailers and shit, but our schedule is in there for the whole month ahead, so you can watch along with us. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and we will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks.
See ya.
Hasta.